because he did so great in the car on the way here. After we worked with Enrique, I even texted my husband, I'm like, he actually laid down. He was quiet. He only started getting upset when he knew, I think, where he realized where he was. But the ride here was the best car ride he's ever had.
Good. So here, you can actually put it right there. So go and give him a tap. 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 What's your number? What's your number?
28.
How much does it come in? So what this can be is like residual.
Okay.
So it's like he's so used to expressing it in the car.
Yeah.
And then he has to contain it, right? So it's like something's got to give.
Yeah.
So as we progress, we'll just keep tabs on things. But let's say you come out of the car and he's still like on edge and stuff. Tap. 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 What's your number currently?
35.
Go 55. Tap. Tap. So since you have to press in the car, this can be you can't like make it go away.
Yeah.
It's got to come out sooner or later. So he was great in the car. It's kind of pent up from it. Then he comes in here, and then all the energy that would have been expelled in the car is being expelled here.
Sure.
But it's a matter of exposure and repeating.
Right.
And then we should start to see more of a consistent like.
Okay.
How do you say? Because last time he was real good.
Yeah.
Really low, we're like 20, 25, and
Yeah.
he was backing off and everything. Now he's higher up. So it can be all that stress that you're trying to override.
Yep.
We're at what now,
81, yep.
81. To be able to back off. Hey, Corey? Yeah. I found it. It was in here. Thanks. So how's it been otherwise?
Great. I don't know if Enrique gave you the kind of recap. It was nice for him to come out because we actually worked at, because we've not had anybody to the house, so it was interesting to see how he reacted, which, I mean, he was upset at first, obviously, when we brought him outside, but once Enrique used the sleeve and, got accustomed, we got right into the car activities, and didn't get him to lay down in the car, but like I explained to Enrique, that's not unusual because, like I said, he's usually so amped up in the car, particularly when it stopped. That's when he really freaks out. So we kind of left it. We did some rides during the week with, doing the techniques that Enrique taught me. I really never had to tap him in the car. I think once he got in by himself, he seems, definitely lower key than he had been previously. Like I said, all the way here, I could hear him licking his lips,
Sure.
but he really didn't pant until we got off on Fullerton.
Gotcha.
So we were in the car for an hour.
What was your number roughly when you were in the day?
Oh, we were all the way up. We were up over 100. Yeah, it was hard. And at one point I told Enrique I wanted to stop because he was so upset. But then we took a break and went back at it, and I'm glad that we did. Because huge improvement.
Okay, gotcha. Anything else?
No, he had a really good week. Kevin's been walking him for the most part in the morning without a whole lot of need for correction.
Okay.
So yeah, he's been doing really well.
Good. So right now we're at Waka. The activity with anything? Any object, anything?
You know what? He did have a lunge this week, with which was corrected. It was a truck, but yeah. But that was the first time in quite a while. But I remember you saying we were gonna, it's gonna regress, and we're gonna have to keep reminding him.
Yeah, so think of it as like we have from before, it's this constant activity, right?
Yeah.
And then we get it under control, and it's like nose once in like a month and a half since you started, right?
Yep.
And then maybe you'll see it for 3 months.
Well, I think some of it too is now with it being spring and the animals and birds out, I think that is somewhat getting him a little bit more amped up because he's seeing, we have rabbits and squirrels and birds, which we hadn't all winter. So I think that's adding an element to his excitement when he's outside.
Gotcha. Because
he's seeing, the nature and.
Does he have razor?
A little bit. It's more so when we're with the Pomskis, they have a huge gray drive.
Gotcha.
But he for the most part doesn't. I mean, it's funny because I think if he went after it, he wouldn't kill anything. He'd want to play with it. I think that's what it would be more of his instinct. Where my little Pomsky, he kills everything. I can't let him out anywhere. He brings death all the time.
Sure. Okay, and he's a dog. I mean,
yeah.
He doesn't like laughter.
No.
He's a Scrooge.
Yeah, he's like me. I'm serious. I'm a pretty serious person.
There we go. So you can just have to wait here. Okay, so here. Last time when we did this, it was like me coming into his face, keeping the energy low and stuff. So this is like in stages. We're gonna gradually make things more difficult by increasing the energy and like movements and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Towards you. Yeah. There we go. Wait a moment. There it is. Good. Woo. This is what me and Kevin did last the time before you showed up. Yeah.
Where he was at 127 for a few minutes, but I had to ride continuous with it. Until eventually the brain goes, okay, something's got to give because the pressure's not going away. So I was pulsing it. So I was keeping it down for about 5 or 6 seconds.
Okay.
So he has to stay in that state, and then he has to back away from it.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's why I just kind of anchored, and I'm not really arguing with him. I'm not fighting him or like doing any of this stuff because that just makes it more engaging.
Yep.
I let him have the target, and I just pulsed, and we took like maybe a minute to like back him off or so. But yeah, this is pretty intense compared to the last time. So when you pull back, you're just going to do firm, but like not this.
Gotcha.
Okay, so the inclination is this.
Right.
You know, put pressure and then
And reel
a
it.
little bit.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha.
Has anything changed?
Nothing. This is really unexpected.
Every time you move and he moves,
Gotcha.
you're resetting.
Okay.
So he has to stay within the context.
Too much pressure. It's all touch. I'm touching the rear too.
Oh, gotcha.
So he was like, whoa. Attention. Yeah.
Stressing me out, Jesse. Look at him jumping.
Yeah.
see you for a week.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't really matter because you saw Enrique. And Enrique had to get him. Because he told me that he was like locked on.
Yeah.
Right? So I'll kind of walk you through how that works. So here, a little bit of a reset. Where what Kevin and I did on the third class, 127, it was like 3 to 5 minutes into it before you backed away.
Yeah.
And we did a little bit of that, and then we capped it, and then I saw you class 4. And that's where 70 to 45 was too much, and went down to 15, 25.
Yeah.
And here, like I heard him. I'm like, is that dog? Because typically I hear the breathing, but I don't hear the grumbling.
Yeah.
So when I opened the door, and he started barking or growling, I was like, all right, he's already on edge, right? Kind of like that first class.
Yeah.
We come in here, put him under more pressure, or the same pressure as before. Although I did make it harder because I started right after that with smacking the sleeve. It's kind of like day one when you're trying to walk past me, and remember you couldn't be like closer than like 3 to 5 feet, right?
Yeah.
So I had to ride on 127 for quite a bit before finally right that shrieking.
Yeah.
So shrieking can be physical discomfort when you're at 127. I would opt for much more physical. But I was doing that for a bit and there was no vocalization.
No, right.
That's, in my opinion, in that moment, the brain weakening. Because the brain tried to override everything.
Right.
He's trying to override the stress of the situation, the space, the contact, this, right? So I'm just pulsing it and I'm just keeping it on until eventually the brain goes, okay, I can only be tough to this for so long.
Right.
And he starts to back off. Once I saw, that's why I needed to see this first.
Yeah.
Once I saw that, then I went for the most part to just tapping with the occasional continuous until I saw him back off, and then you saw him kind of jumping back.
Yes.
So that's when I went down to the 75 and now to the 44.
Okay.
Okay, which will probably end up going lower again. But that smacking and that energy was even harder for him than just the closeness
Yeah.
of being within his personal space, right? So now he's got to contain all that tension, so then when they come in to touch him, you see the spine, or not the spine, but the skin that's really just kind of contracting there.
Yeah.
So when we get stuff like that, our instinct is typically to lay off, or to pull out the situation, like in replay, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying that's not allowed, because there's sometimes where you ask like you lay off pressure, let the dog decompress, and then see if they're more sensitive.
Yeah.
But the dog will learn, I can override this,
Sure.
right?
It makes total sense. Yeah.
And it'll incentivize them the next time to ride it out even longer, you know, because dogs bite each other, they tear each other up. There's a video on YouTube about, it's like in South America, it's about stray dogs and like females and beef, and they're fighting for a female. They're like torn up and they're just bleeding, you know, it's crazy.
Still going at it, yeah.
And then I go, that's dog. But we don't see that because we're so used to like the domesticated inside dogs. But like, and you'll see like a Rottweiler, there's a kind of Corso, there's a Kitty, there's a Lab. All these dogs fighting for the female meat. Instinct kicks in, you know. So their ability to withstand discomfort is pretty high. So when we start to feel that like inclination to want to back off, we ride through it. So then he goes, okay, I just gave that my best shot, okay? And then he goes, and it didn't work. So then the brain becomes more sensitive, because that's what happened the last time.
Yeah. Except
Except on class 3, I didn't press him like this. I only pressed him with space.
Right.
Now we press them with energy and space, you know? So it makes more sense that, or it makes sense that I'm needing more pressure to get him to shut it down, but ultimately he learned I'm gonna back off. Or I'm like speaking for him, right, that he's gonna back off. And that's pivotal, you know, I mean even for humans.
Sure, absolutely.
If a bully gets away with something and finally one day somebody kicks the bully back, I was like, all right, well I guess I'm not as tough as I thought it was. It changes something, right? The same thing here for this guy. So I gave him some space there to decompress. I'm gonna go down a bit more. I'm gonna go down to 25, and now he moves away, right?
She's coming for me.
Right here. You see how he just turned and he angled away from me?
Yes. So this is the kind of what he does on the walks now, is like the avoidance.
Yeah. So this is good.
But you're right, but you said that's good though, right? Because he's making the decision rather than,
Going in conflict.
yeah.
Is he looking this way at all?
No, he's looking straight ahead.
Right hand stood up. But yeah, as soon as I came over here and I grabbed the sleeve, he went,
Yeah. Yeah.
New position, right? Good. But there was no re-engagement of tension.
Right.
It was just like, all right, I lost that battle. Here we go.
Yeah.
This is good. So here, this is the stuff that it's time and repetition.
Sure.
And we'll see how probably the next class or two. Because before we start to incorporate others, because that right there, people don't have, a lot of people don't have the stomach for that, right? Is that's why we do this first. So ideally, we've done this enough that by the time you get to doing this with friends and family, it's the quick 25 hit, whatever, or it's pretty straightforward. It's none of this nonsense of 127 and backing it up, right? It's doing all that first, weakening the brain, making it receptive to like, hey, power will override you.
Yeah.
Until eventually, he stops going there because it's never worked.
Right.
But the moment you try to apply this to a friend or a family member, they're like, hey, I can't do this, this looks uncomfortable.
Yeah.
He wins. And he goes, oh, I have an out to these things, you know? So even if he's not being aggressive, but it's just like, you know, riding through it and not backing away is detrimental, okay?
But I would imagine too that, like we saw with Enrique, he's going to be on a heightened awareness too, or heightened anxiety level when it's on his territory.
Oh, yeah. So I'm at 122 again. I didn't have to continue this one. This is not his jam right here.
No.
Does he behave like this with anything inside the home? Like
No.
where something smacks and he's just like,
No. The only thing he acts like this, he behaves like this with his vacuum cleaner.
okay.
That's the only time we hear that distress, like, scream is with the vacuum cleaner, when he attacks the vacuum cleaner like that.
Okay. How do you get vacuum?
We avoid it.
Yes, the moon.
We take him outside. Well, yeah, we do it when he's outside. But I'm wondering if we should do this with the collar with the vacuum.
You can. This second time I want you to do it.
Yeah.
When he goes for it, is he like trying to bite it? Like,
Oh yeah, he likes it. It's all scratched out from him biting it.
Okay, so what we would do is, I'd probably put him on a long leash. Do you happen to have one?
Yeah.
So you set him up with the prong with the long leash. Collar it up. If you just bring out the vacuum, will he do anything?
Yes. He attacks it even when it's not on.
Okay. Do you have a vacuum, like a broken one you don't care about?
I mean, that one, I'm gonna have to get a new one anyway, but yeah.
So here, a couple ways to go about this would be, you want to see, measure your length of leash,
Mhm.
and give them like 10, 15 feet, like this.
Okay.
You just hold it, just with your order, just hold it. Someone, Kevin, vacuumed here, just outside of the range. Okay? Don't turn it on. There's planted there, and you're just anchoring, kind of what you're doing here,
Yep.
and remoting until he backs off.
Okay.
Then move the vacuum a little bit. Still keeping it out of his range.
Okay.
Okay? He shoots forward, you just anchor, remote till he backs off. Get with the vacuum, right? Not on, just back and forth moving it. If he's holding the ground, start to come in a bit.
Okay.
You can shorten the leash a bit. So if he charges, you're limiting how far he gets.
Okay.
And so eventually you can literally push the vacuum and like even touch him with it. And you'll just see him like this, for the avoidance thing.
Okay.
Once you get that down, reset to like the 10 feet or whatever, come back out, test real quick, turn it on.
Okay.
And then you close in.
Okay.
So actually that's good, because that gives you control of context to practice this.
Yes.
Okay, now, if he's going and you're maxed at 127 and you're tapping, he's not backing off. Hold the vacuum still. Continuous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like continuous one, and just keep pulsing it.
Okay.
Okay? It might take a bit, you just saw.
Yeah.
If you start to feel great emotional discomfort, he doesn't want to give it up, keep the pressure on. As soon as he starts to back off, you let pressure go.
Okay.
You go to tapping, you may even be able to go down lower.
Okay.
If you go down to like 70 and you tap him, you can see him do this, perfect.
Okay.
Get him to back off, right? Then move the vacuum on, he charges, and you start all over again.
Okay.
Okay? So that's great because it's something you do on a
Yeah, I'm
regular
glad we
basis.
talked about this today because that'll help with what, incorporate what we're doing here with
Yeah.
that retreat kind of.
Right, because like here, like once if it's just tapping, it's easy. But once you start going to like continuous and jumping back and forth, it's a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
But essentially, you're keeping the pressure on, and you're pulsing it every 5 seconds until the brain picks up on, hey, something's happening. I should let this go and back off. Okay. I probably suggest in the beginning, you muzzle them.
Okay.
Just because what I wouldn't want is if he feels continuous, around it's typically you're going to get a redirect.
Right.
Okay? A redirect is not making them aggressive to you. It's all that power and discomfort's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
You're going to target the closest thing.
Yeah.
That's going to be you, the leash, potentially the vacuum.
Okay.
So by keeping that on, you're able to practice the disengagement and backing off without having to worry about what happened was he going to be able to get to me.
Right.
Trying to lay down. Okay.
I think this is the first time he's laid down here.
So when you guys dropped him from boarding, he didn't lay down for.
That's what Enrique said, for like over 24 hours.
He's not the first guy either.
Yeah, we talked about that because we have a couple of weekends in June where we're going to need to board him. I was thinking it's probably good for him to be in this environment and you guys doing that with him aside from us too. We were talking about that with the, Enrique coming into our territory. Not that he would get familiar with, I guess he does, he will remember Enrique, but to be in the calm environment here, which is a little bit different than the environment he is with the other dogs.
Oh, with Tomsky.
Yeah, because they're yappy. So I was thinking that, with doing some of the activities here would help translate that potentially to home. So,
Right. So, what his biggest thing is just that, obviously with you and Kevin, like he's incentivized to protect you.
Right.
Like that's the biggest thing here that we're overriding.
Yeah.
Is that when you move into your personal space, he's like not having it, right? Because otherwise here, other than the first day when you growled at me 30 minutes after Kevin dropped him off, he was fine.
Yeah.
And then the little grumble when we first tried to alter his collar, and then he was fine. He got deactivated. Because there's nothing to protect, he's actually vulnerable.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think this time he'll be even better. and ideally warm up more quickly. Yeah, much better. So even like if the brain resets, you know, and we end up back at that range, I just people don't be discouraged. Because
I remember you saying it's gonna be 2 steps forward, 1 step back sometimes. But it was 2 steps forward to ride here, so I guess if this is what we have to pay for to make progress there, because that was huge.
yeah. So here, him scooting, complete like, okay, like this is as normal a position as I can get to. Obviously still tensing with the touch, but not re-engaging, right? Even with, let me see, he holds here.
Another thing he's not doing, he doesn't have his tail tucked, so usually he'll tuck his tail, like, especially if the other dogs are around, like in the morning, like, don't come near me, and he doesn't even have it tucked. He usually tucks it behind his,
A little change in breathing, because this is stressing him out. There's a tiny little rumble there for a reset. I'm so glad I have a facility now. When I see a case like this, it was so difficult.
Oh, I can't even imagine being in the home doing this.
Yeah, like, because a lot of people here are apartments.
Right.
So they're like, oh my God, what's going on, you know? Actually, we've had the cops call on us before.
I can imagine with them screaming like that when they shriek. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, it's just a
The
dog.
cops probably show up and laugh after they realize
Well, they
what
see
it
me in
is.
the suit, yeah, I've had that, they saw me in the suit, they're like, what's going on? And we're training to fix aggression. And the cops like, okay, yeah, I see you in the bike suit or whatever, but you know,
Yeah.
the neighbors don't think that. And
Well, I noticed my neighbors, we live in a townhouse, and I noticed them looking out the window when we were out there, and like, sorry.
Oh, sure, yeah. No. There was, Enrique had the cops call him too because he was doing a home visit and he had the suit on. And he was waiting outside, he's in this big old suit while he's at the front door. And they told the neighbors, but I guess somebody, like two people called. Because 2 squad cars popped up and he just texted me like, the
Poor
police
guy.
are here.
Poor guy.
So. Oh, so we got the last and no,
Not done yet.
there we go. So touch the shoulder. Oh, it's the feet.
Oh, that makes sense.
Is
Yeah.
that a thing for
We
him?
cannot cut his nails. No, he doesn't let us touch his feet. Well, if he's sleeping, but if he's actively awake, no.
You can cut him when he's sleeping.
Sorry?
You can cut him when you're sleeping.
Yes. Well, I know, and I don't cut his nails. We keep him low just from walking him.
Okay.
But he'll let us touch his paws like if he's relaxed and he's sleeping, but
Sure.
not any other time.
Okay. So that was a new contract. I'm going to come forward.
Well, you know, the one thing we did, and that's kind of how we broke his food aggression, was with his paws. We would make him sit and give us his paw before we would get his food. So now he does that. Like when we put his food down, he'll give us his paw. We
Okay.
touch his paw and then he'll eat.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's okay. Part of the process. Like for dogs, like dogs don't really generalize. So like aggression over food, aggression over someone coming into the home, aggression over touching his feet, they're all separate.
Oh, okay.
So there he finally scooted. Cool, we're chill. This thing, not a problem. The moment I went to his shoulder where his paw was laying, the next
It
thing comes
re-engaged.
out.
Gotcha.
Okay, so whenever, another reason why you don't get discouraged is you always want to think context. Yeah. So he's going, so dogs are like light switches, they're very topic based. So like if he's got a bone, or let's say the dog has a bone, and they go like I'm gonna grab it, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as you move your hand away, they go back to chewing like nothing happened, right? On or off. So here, he was off for one contact, and as soon as I touch that foot, it's on, right? So then we correct like anything else, and I keep pressing that. So eventually he's like, all right, like I can't get away with it here either.
Right.
And you have to nitpick at every little thing that he does.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
But it was the same thing, Enrique talked about that too, with the car, him being amped just because Enrique was in his, on his territory.
Yep.
But then he was amped up from that, but then the car too. So yeah, separating what the anxiety was over. Was it because Enrique is on his driveway, or is it because he was gonna have to get in the car? So yeah.
And dogs tend to stack. So like I had a client had a pit bull, that one vet was there. And going from the back door to the garage, you go to 2 to 3. Go to the garage, go to 4. Get in the car, go to 6. Get out the car, go to 7. Go to the vet, 8, right? Because he was just stacking. By the time he got to the vet, he was already overwhelmed. So I told him we have to, every little step, we have to bring him down to 0, and then he took him to the vet, no problem.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't stacking anymore. So same thing for this guy. Anytime you notice anything, like, he just changes, think of it as like just stacking a step.
Yeah.
Okay, and then too many go unchecked, then we get the big.
That makes sense. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Just the back legs don't bother him as much.
And he doesn't care about his tail much, except with the other dogs. Well, when we got the puppy, that was the big thing. The puppy was on his tail. He's dancing.
But he's holding the
Yeah.
There we go. There it is. So from the inside, not a problem. It's the outside that's a problem. There we go. 3063. No tap there. I didn't tap him because he didn't go forward. So what we have to do here is essentially tap him to where he, because you see how you can backpedal?
Yes.
So then what we'll have to do is set him up with like with the pants where we can anchor him, and I can just grab the leg and I have to just hold it, and then he just goes. He's gonna freak out and eventually it's just like anything else.
Yep.
But if there's any other option but compliance, he will do this all day, okay? So this is like actually class 4. Remember when we were standing talking and I was just right there between like hit like this with my leg here?
Yeah.
And I just stood there for a bit, and then after a bit he exploded. It's like it's just sitting there festering. show you.
Still, it's just instinct, yeah.
Really tight. I'm back in here. About 45. Yeah, so now we'll have to set it up so we can pin him.
Okay,
I can just grab him
okay.
and let it right out. Because he's holding for a bit, right? So earlier he was up for like 5-8 seconds before the explosion, and then it was becoming less growly,
Yeah,
and he was holding more. So here, it's a lot of pressing buttons. Stuff that we typically avoid. So like I had a client, her thing was the tail. One of my first case like Doug, and there was like 2 to 3 classes of me touching her tail, and the owner like one day just got pissed, and he's like, "Are you making my dog more aggressive?" I was like, "Why?" I was like, "No, I'm like, trust me, sooner or later, some dumbass is gonna grab your dog's tail." So we got it to go. They finished the program. She was pretty straightforward because they had a very social life. They had parties like 3 to 4 times a week. So like they were, as soon as they got to the point where they could expose her, 3 to 4 times she was being exposed. They got to go over it real quick. And then fast forward a few months, because we used to live in this, I lived in the south side, and they lived not too far. I ran into him at a bar, and he comes up to me, and he's like, "Yes," he's like, "I gotta buy you a shot, man." And he's like, "I gotta tell you something." We go over, and he's like, "I am so grateful that you did the tail exercise." Because they went to a festival that was in Wilson. They brought her with, which they couldn't do before, they brought her with, she was doing great. Somebody's kid ran up and she grabbed her
oh,
tail.
I don't doubt it. Oh, God.
And then you saw her kind of like, you know, and she sat there, and then the kid let it go and ran off.
Oh,
And he's like, "Man, Jesse, you were right. It happened. You know, somebody just came up, some kid just came up and grabbed her tail, 3 to 5 seconds, and just hooked it." I was like, "Wow, why did it?" I was like, "Because theoretically, like, she could have still done something because it's so out of the blue."
right, yeah.
But all the repetition and the pushing and the correcting
Putting
and
them
the
in this
explosions
situation, yeah, exactly.
is I would push them more than what's actually realistic. And our job is, of course, so his job, he doesn't have to be perfect, he just has to coexist.
Right.
Our job is to make sure that he's coexisting, but then also advocating.
Yeah,
Right? So like had they caught that, obviously they would like, "Hey, no, don't touch our dog," or whatever, right? Because even though they've done all this training,
right.
when it's a little kid randomly out of nowhere, like
Oh, it happens to us all the time. Little kids on bikes or little kids on skateboards. So again, there's anything that I can do to normalize that for him. But then you can't. You don't know what the kid's gonna do.
Yeah.
Like the techniques you said, like being mean to him or whatever. Like you gotta do what you gotta do because I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
he's gonna seriously hurt somebody.
They might have a little bit of a bad day because you were rude to them, and better than a bad day with somebody who's bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is good here on the Captain here because we've done so much. And I like that he's spooning. So when we do this, we try to end on a high note. It's actually
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. 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 And relax. Good. That's gonna be another step too. Like coming in, "Hey, how are you?" All that's different.
Wow, yeah.
Okay. So here though, where he's finally able to start just laying down and relaxing is good. So some things you would look out for, like let's say the vacuum cleaner. It may not happen there, but just to give you an example, let's say you pull out the vacuum cleaner and you do all these things that you did today, vacuum up. And then you finally see Doug at the end of a 20-minute session lay down for 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
is you're gonna start bringing up the vacuum, and earlier and earlier in that process of vacuuming, he's just gonna lay down and not bother with it. So eventually you bring it on, he's like, oh, has nothing to do with me in it.
Okay.
He just goes and lays down in the corner, and you turn it on, you vacuum in peace. He's not even bothered by it, right? So when you start to see the brain laying down, that's comfort.
Yep.
That's a bit of like, all right, this has nothing to do with me, I don't like it.
Right.
And the sooner he gets into that within the
Neutral
context,
zone, yeah.
you see the progress of, okay, now he's starting to get it.
Yeah.
Right? Now that can help also with this.
Yeah.
Okay, even though it's not human related, it's still just the brain going to that degree,
Right.
and you going, it's not going to happen.
Well, the car too, like I said, he laid down in the car on the way here today, which he is never, ever done.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had him for 3 years now. I mean, he'll lay down, like when we would drive to Tennessee, 8 hours into the drive, he'll lay down. But he'll
Yeah.
stand the entire time.
Yep.
And, you know, do his distress crying and whatever. So, yeah, you're right. All of the things, all of the exercises that we're doing are breaking through to him. And all I care about is neutrality. That's all I care about. I don't want, he's not going to be a perfect dog. I don't want him to be a robot.
Yeah.
You know, I just want him to be neutral to, you know, the environment.
Good. Number 3 for today. Yeah, good. So, little things like this mean a lot. And then now that you have, this is technically good that it happened, because let's say it was smooth, and then we talked about the vacuum cleaner. It's like last class and this class are obviously very
Yeah.
opposite, because last time we were 25 and it was super responsive.
Yeah.
Whereas today you get the 127 continuous pulse, right? That's where I think vacuum cleaner is going to be.
Gotcha.
Okay, so now you
Oh,
get
yeah.
a visual of that. And remember, even if you feel uncomfortable, write it out. If you see an even inch back, you're getting through, keep the pressure on, so
Yeah.
eventually you're seeing much more like, okay, like I'm gonna disengage. And then if you're stressed out, as soon as you achieve that back away, you can stop.
Yeah.
You just need to complete the back away.
Right.
But if he's going for it, and it's been only 3 to 5 minutes, you're like, I can't do this, this is stressful, and you stop,
He
that's gonna be
wins.
different.
Yeah, he
So at
wins.
least get one down where you see him back away a couple of steps, remove the vacuum cleaner, and then take him off and then you're done.
Gotcha.
Next time, you should be able to jump to that result much more quickly.
Okay.
Okay? But definitely not wanting to end with him still engaged or him still wanting to attack the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Because that will work against us.
Gotcha.
Okay?
No, I'm glad that this session did go this way today, because that will be valuable. And seeing the way that you had to do that with the continuous will help with that. for
And the
sure.
main thing is like, so like with the sleep, because he really just goes like,
Yeah.
right? Is he has to remove the pause. Okay? That's a conscious decision, just like it's a conscious decision to go like this. That's dogs when they catch the bread.
Yeah.
Go like that, right?
Yeah.
That's very clear disengagement. Okay, I'm gonna back off of this, right? So if he happens to like get to the vacuum cleaner or whatever, just enough tension to guide him away from it, but don't physically pull him away.
Okay.
And let the collar get him to back off of it.
Okay.
We're just helping, providing a little bit of direction
Yeah.
to incentivize him to back off.
Okay.
Questions on any of that stuff?
No, this was super helpful. Good.
Good. All right.
Good job, Dougie.